going strong. Shaman's Leewood Total Wellness has changed my life. 2 words, guys. It works. Tell your friends, tell your wife, tell anyone who wants to lose some weight and live a better life. Call or stop by for a free consultation. Mention 810 and get $100 off your startup fee. Shaman's Leewood Total Wellness, 117th and Row in Leewood, or call 913-227-9150. Life is better with the feather.
Spring is here, and so is the time for high school football recruiting combines. Don't miss the 810 Varsity College Recruiting Combines on April 23rd and May 7th right here in Kansas City. The 810 Varsity Combines provide a big opportunity to play college football with NAIA, JUCO, and NCAA coaches on hand, watching drills, laser-timed 40s, and more, with results sent to over 3,000 college coaches. Don't wait to register for the area's top recruiting event. Go today to 810varsity.com.
ICON is seeking healthy, non-smoking men and women ages 18 to 55 to participate in a clinical research study at our facility in Lenexa, Kansas. Volunteers must be available for one stay of 24 nights and one follow-up visit. Qualified participants may receive compensation up to $9,400 for time and travel. Call ICON today at 913-210-5900. That's 913-210-5900.
Saturday, head coach Lance Leipold leads the Jayhawks into a new Big 12 football season with the Kansas Spring Game. Our live coverage kicks off at 12:30 right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. And don't forget at 2 o'clock on Sunday, the Kansas Basketball Victory Parade rolls down Mass Street.
Your Jayhawks are national champions!
We'll be right alongside Bill Self and the team as they celebrate their national championship victory. It's all right here on the home of the Jayhawks. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
You're listening to the most powerful sports station in the country. Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City, the power of sports.
America's largest all-sports radio station presents the #1 motorsports show for 2 decades, Track Talk, brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. Here are the Racing Boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, as well as RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. I'm Scott. He's Kirk. We're the Racing Boys. We're live from the Racing Boys studio here in lovely Kansas City, Missouri. Want to welcome everybody to the show. Got a good show lined up for you today. A lot of sound that we're going to run for Mostly Motorsports this week. Had a lot of great guests on. Plus, we're going to talk to Lee Spencer in hour number 2. And again, hour number 2, you can watch it exclusively. We're not on Sports Radio 810, but hour number 2 is exclusively on our Facebook page, Twitter, RacingBoys.com, and YouTube. So you can watch it on any one of those 4 platforms if you'd like to watch the show. And we are ready. It's a cold weekend here in Kansas City, and I think the biggest news so far, Kirk, is the cancellation of the World of Outlaw race up at US 36 Raceway in Osborne, Missouri. We were on the air yesterday when they canceled that race, and we were talking about it, how cold it was going to be. It was going to be down in the 30s, and were the fans going to show up, and how it was going to affect that race. And about an hour after we started talking about it, because originally when we talked to them, they said that they were still a go. What was that, Austin? Was that about 10 o'clock when we talked to them? They said that it was still a go, wasn't it?
It was, yes, 10 o'clock, and then at like 11:30 it was still, 10 o'clock was still a go. 11:30 they were thinking about it.
Right. But a good call, don't you think, Kurt?
Yeah, I was going to say, it just wouldn't have been a good night at all. I mean, it was so cold out there, and when they made the call, it was kind of sleeting and spitting a little precipitation, still cloudy at that time. Now, the sun did come out later in the afternoon, but as it cleared out, it got colder. So it was really cold last night, and it just wouldn't have been a good thing. It'll be much better tonight down at Lake Ozark Speedway, and it's starting to warm up here this afternoon.
Jason Johnson
so I
Classic
think it'll be a lot better
down
night
there
tonight.
Yeah, that'll be a good race down there. There'll be a lot of cars, and don't forget they are running the Power Eye Extreme non-wing sprint cars as well. So, man, what a show that you're going to see. You're going to get to see conventional 410 wing sprint cars and what would you call it, Kirk? Traditional non-wing sprint car racing from back in the day?
Yeah, that's part of the dirt the World Racing Group's new non-wing series that debuted down in Florida, the Extreme Outlaw Series. There's some heavy hitters that's going to be running that series this year. Right. So you're seeing a double whammy of non-wing and wing sprint car racing at Lake Ozark tonight. It's going to be a great show.
Well, I'm going down there for sure. Yeah, I'm going to go down there and check it out, and I know Deidre's going to go down there. I think I'm going to go down there and hang out. Blake Hahn's going to go down there and hang out with us, him and his lovely wife, Sierra.
Blake does not bring his car.
He is not racing down there. He's just going as a fan to watch. So we're going to hang out together, and we haven't had a chance to hang out with Sierra since she's been pregnant. You know, she's been pregnant, about ready to go, like in a month.
Sometime in May, isn't it?
Yeah, I think May 7th or something like that. So
now Blake is going to run some 410 races.
He is. He's going to run some, but I think he's going to look at the Power Eye and the All-Stars and whatnot. You know, that's a pretty tough assignment over there with the World of Outlaws. I'm sure he would love to run with those guys, but really, you got to think about the finances of pulling up and down the road right now, to be honest with you. With the price of fuel.
Diesel fuel's $1 more a gallon than gasoline.
Again, this is a pet peeve of mine. Why is diesel more than gasoline? I don't get it. I just don't get it. So anyway, long story short is that last night was canceled, and that's not good for the fans of the World of Outlaws here in Kansas City.
Yeah,
because that would have been a great show up there, man.
The last time they ran up there in 2020, it was down to the wire finish between Sheldon Haudenschild and Brad Sweet.
Right.
That was a classic finish, but it got snowed out or rained out a year ago, and then again this year. So that sucks.
I believe, Austin, didn't we come up with the date of October 16th? They're racing on the 14th at I-80, then they're going to Lakeside Speedway on the 15th, and then they're off Sunday the 16th, and they don't race for 2 weeks. They're right by Lakeside Speedway. Let's make that date up, October 16th. Wasn't that the date that we come up with, Austin?
Yep, it was a Sunday.
Yeah.
Makes too much sense, doesn't it?
It makes a great amount of sense. I don't even know why they haven't even considered it yet. Maybe if they're listening to this show this morning, they'll take our advice and say, hey, how about October 16th, we'll come back to US 36 Raceway.
Yeah, because I don't think, maybe a lot of people would be concerned that would take away the crowd from Lakeside Speedway to have an event just 2 nights later at a track nearby, but I don't think so. I think, these guys don't come around here that often. So having a third date on that weekend, I think, makes a lot of sense. I hope they do it. Hope they consider it anyway.
Yeah. Well, I just I hate to see John Bowler lose the revenue that he would have made off of that race. John Bowler's one of the good promoters around this area. I really think a world of him. He's a good guy, and you just hate to see him lose that date. So let's try to talk the World of Outlaws into running October 16th. Now, that's still a rough time of the year. You could still get rained out. It could still be cold back then. October 16th. It could still be that way.
Or how about this?
But at least put it on the schedule so we have a chance to get John Bowler a race up there with the World of Outlaws, because last year he was rained out as well, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been, 2 years since they've been here, and hopefully it won't be another year when they come back to U.S. A great racetrack, by the way.
Let me tell you something. The last race that I saw with the World of Outlaws at US 36 Raceway in Osborne, Missouri, right up there by Cameron, was maybe the best World of Outlaw race I've ever seen. Sheldon Haudenschild narrowly beat Brad Sweet to the line just by a whisker at the line and picked up the win. We watched that the other day, Austin. That was a pretty good race, wasn't it?
I think I watched it probably 5 times this week, and
is that incredible?
It's a heck of a race. I think it won, best race of the year in 2020, and I think it probably still holds its rank as the best race since then.
Right, I would agree with that. And, one of the things that was so impressive, Sheldon, he bobbled up and he got, a straightaway behind, didn't he? And then he ran Brad Sweet down and beat him at the line. That was what was so fantastic about it.
Yeah, on the last lap, Sheldon was about a straightaway and a quarter behind Brad.
Right.
And, Brad kind of got bottled up behind a lap car going into 3, and he kind of, slid it through the middle, and Sheldon just ripped the cushion and got a heck of a run and drove by him, and it just caught everybody off by surprise. But it's the best race I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, no doubt.
Sheldon really shines on these kinds of racetracks, too. That track in Peebly, where they're going to be next weekend, he's really good there.
Yeah. Well, if you're good at a place like Peebly and if you're good at a place like Eagle, Nebraska, you're going to be good at US 36 Raceway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just kind of one of those tracks, right? So, I guess last night, Kirk, in the Xfinity race, let's talk about it just a little bit here real quick. Brandon Jones ended up winning that race, right?
He did. It was a late restart. Ty Gibbs had dominated the night. I mean, he led the most laps. Looks like he was going to win it easily, but on that last restart, Brandon Jones got the better of Ty Gibbs, starting on the inside.
Ty didn't like it either.
As Ty got up on the outside of the racetrack, here comes Sam Mayer between Gibbs and another race car and started rubbing on Ty Gibbs a little bit and bumping him out of the way, and Ty didn't like that very much, so he retaliated on the next lap around and bumped him in the rear. And when they got out of the car at the end of the race, those two kids started going each other.
Let me give you a little advice, Ty Gibbs. If you dish it out, you got to take it once in a while.
Yeah.
Because, listen, as many people as he's rubbed and knocked out of the way and moved over the years, there's no doubt about it, these guys are not going to race him clean because they know he doesn't race them clean, right?
That's right.
And if you're online watching this right now, we're watching a little video of the confrontation between the two drivers. But let me tell you something. Ty Gibbs is an ironhead. And he better get used to it. And let me tell you something. Ty Gibbs got a pretty good right cross put in there, too.
Yeah.
For a God-bearing man, he sure wasn't very he sure wasn't very religious there yesterday, was he?
Those two guys ended up in the Xfinity Series trailer last night. Wouldn't you like to be a fly on the wall to hear that conversation?
I think he bloodied Jones's lip, didn't he?
I think so.
I think
Sam Mayer, not Brandon Jones.
Sam
Mayer.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because
Jones, he was way ahead of all that. He passed.
Jones was up there getting his trophy.
Yeah, so he was gone.
Right.
He was celebrating.
Thank you there, Austin.
But Sam Mayer took his helmet off. Ty Gibbs kept his on. So,
well, that doesn't make Ty a dummy.
No.
I mean, if you're going to fight somebody, you might as well leave your helmet on. You ever fought anybody at the racetrack, Austin?
No.
You're not that type, are you?
No.
Yeah.
You're not this kind of style, Austin, are you?
Well, I've never had a right to fight anybody.
No.
I mean, I'm not like Ty Gibbs.
You might have had a couple opportunities.
Yeah,
maybe.
but I got better things to do. I got too many good marketing partners to show that off to.
Don't let me rub off on you.
No.
Don't do that.
No. Yeah. You'll never have that happen.
But Ty's a young kid. He's got to learn. He's a great race car driver.
He's
done a hell of a job so far.
He is about as talented as anything coming up through the ranks right now.
He's got to learn. If you race people a certain way, they're going to race you back that same way.
No,
you got to be able to take it.
No. He needs to keep racing people like that.
Yeah.
Because when he gets in behind people and they look up in their mirror, or their spotter says Ty Gibbs is behind you, they're going to lose their concentration because they know that Ty Gibbs is willing to put the bumper or a fender to you.
Now, Sam Mayer and Ty Gibbs raced each other back in the K&N series, that I don't know what they call it now, the ARCA East series or whatever they call it now. Those two guys have had history with each other back then, so we don't know the whole story of
Sam and Ty
the relationship between Sam Mayer and Ty Gibbs. But these two guys have battled each other in the past, so I'm sure there's some history there.
I think he's going to have a black eye this morning. He the first punch hit him in the mouth, but that was just a push thing.
Yeah.
But the one, if he's got a dinger right on he's got a cherry on the corner of his eye.
Ty knows how to throw a punch too.
Yeah, only thing I wish
he better get used to that because he's going to have to fight a few people along the way. I
wish he would have had his helmet off too. That's the only thing I don't, because you can't swing back.
I mean, here's the question of the day: is this what people want to see? Is there a computer turned on over there that I can hear it loud and clear? Is there a? Do you think this is going to be a regular deal for? Ty Gibbs, do you think he's going to have to knuckle up a few times along the way?
Yeah, but I'm sure Grandpa has sat him down and said, "Hey, son, you got to..."
No, listen.
Got to watch what you're doing here.
If Coach Joe Gibbs really wanted him to settle down, he had already settled him down. He doesn't want him to lose that aggression. Would you agree with that, Austin? Don't you think that Ty, his grandpa wants him to be aggressive like that? Would you agree?
I think to a certain extent, yes. But there's a point where you become, overly aggressive and you're just mowing through people. Now, Ty Gibbs hasn't done that yet, but it's getting to the point where it's getting old. Everybody he runs over and moves. Now, if you just move him every once in a while, that's fine, but it's just a constant nuisance.
Didn't Dale Earnhardt make a pretty good living at moving people out of the way?
He did, but, I think times kind of change as well.
Well, Dale Earnhardt, he knew how to pick his battles, too. I would say the advice that, Grandpa has given to the young kid is, you got to learn how to pick your battles.
Hold on a second. He picked his battles with Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Bodine. So many people. Bill Elliott. He had run-ins with so many different people over the years.
Sure.
Dale Earnhardt wasn't picky about who he leaned on. If you held him up or slowed him down, he'd move you out of the way. And as much as people might understand why I say this, I'm all for it, man. Grind him up. Knock him out of the way.
You're right. We do need an
ironhead.
We do, and we need someone like him in the sport to kind of
ruffle the feathers.
Yeah, we can't be perfect every time we go to the racetrack and not let anything happen. You're right. We do need to have it happen, but we're 7-8 races in, and I think Ty Gibbs has ran over somebody at least 2 or 3 times in each race.
Mm-hmm. As a race fan, I love it. I thought it was entertaining as heck. I'm sitting there watching that last night. Go, yeah, that is entertaining. So, as a race fan,
listen,
keep it up.
We don't want this to get to WWF, right, or WWE. We don't want it to get to that point. But if you watch the NASCAR commercials and the way they and the way they market it around fights and crashes and that
tempers.
Everything that you see on their commercials now is marketed around just high energy,
hothead part of the
people knocking people out of the way, people fighting down in the pits. They show them throwing punches and everything. So, what are they doing? Are they marketing it like it is WWE? Is that what they're doing?
They're not going to shy away if that pulls in a few extra viewers. I guarantee you that.
Listen, that's what I would do.
One other element, they were fighting for this $100,000 Xfinity Dash for Cash bonus that A.J. Allmendinger ended up walking out of there. So those guys were all fighting for that. Another part of this whole story is Brandon Jones is a teammate to Ty Gibbs. You remember last week at Richmond, Ty Gibbs roughed up John Hunter Nemechek for that win. This time, Gibbs had a chance to maybe try to lean on Brandon Jones a little bit after he got up beside him. Not this time.
Right.
Brandon Jones cleanly got out in front and sped away to the win.
Yeah.
So he's not roughing up this teammate.
Well, as a guy that raced with this front bumper a lot and a guy that wasn't afraid to get into it with anybody at the racetrack, I'm going to tell you right now, I like Ty Gibbs, and he might be my new guy. I like his style. I like the way he rubs people. I like the way that he gets under people's skin. I just like that about him.
He plays to win.
He might be my new favorite driver.
And you had old Dale Jr. out there just trying to put some laps in.
Yeah, Dale.
Yeah. How'd he end up?
He was running very well for.
He was going to get a pretty good solid top 10 finish until he got caught up in somebody else's mess.
Yep. When was the last time he drove a car?
Turned around.
Last year, right? Every year, doesn't he do?
He runs one race a year.
One
last
race
year
a
he
year.
raced for
I think
that's pretty good for running only one race.
It is, and
I think still after he got spun out, he was able to rally back, and I think he finished. There was a couple of guys battling each other. Can't remember who.
It's this crash right here that we're looking at.
And then there was a big pile up that caused a red flag right before that last restart that collected.
Look at that!
I know, isn't that nuts?
Field.
That's just nuts.
Wow, man!
I mean, the amount of cars that are piled up in the infield.
Noah Gragson was one of them.
Just crazy.
Championship contender.
And people kept hitting the 7 car after the wreck.
That's what it looked like to me.
It was like, all right, you're the problem of this. We're going to just keep hitting you.
No, what happened was Sam Mayer turned
Right here it is.
Noah Gragson off the restart because Ty Gibbs kind of
back.
He's kind of back in his restart. So.
Yeah, he never really got off on that
Sam Mayer
restart.
was involved in that, yep.
But it looks like...
So Sam had a bad night, then. He had to fight. He got a black eye, right?
He's having a bad morning this morning.
Caused a big pile up.
He woke up, looked like he hit a wall.
Yeah.
Noah Gragson got the worst end out of that deal, it looked like. So,
yeah.
But Brandon Jones, one note about Brandon Jones, we saw him win his first ever Xfinity race out here at Kansas Speedway here a couple of years ago. Then he backed that up with another win the following year. So he got his start of winning races out here at Kansas Speedway.
Yeah.
You know who kind of was, before we go here, you know who kind of was like Ty Gibbs before Ty Gibbs came into the Xfinity Series?
Who's that?
Noah Gragson.
Yeah, because Noah, he really pissed off a bunch of people, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, really ticked off
He's kind of calmed down a little bit, but
you don't see that much out of him now.
No, I think Junior's kind of sat him down and tried to clean him up a little bit.
One of those instances we saw live out here at Kansas Speedway.
Well, if you're a car owner, you don't want to go out there and tear up a bunch of race cars.
No, especially Junior, and he said that a dozen times. That I mean, you also you can't just run everybody over all the time too,
Well, but you know what? To move somebody out of the way for the win, there's nothing
nothing wrong with that.
Right?
That's just like, I'm talking about middle of the race. You're just door banging people for nothing, no reason.
Let me ask you a question, Austin. Would you feed somebody a right rear for a win?
Depends, probably. I mean,
depends on who it is.
Depends on who it is and if it's the Knoxville Nationals, I don't care who you are. I'm going to drive through you.
Right.
I mean,
no, you don't want to drive through them. You want to just show them that big old right rear coming at them.
That's
right?
what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I didn't say it the right way, but
I like that answer, Austin.
situational.
It depends on what it is and who it is.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
But, I don't blame Ty Gibbs for being upset for Sam Mayer running him up into the wall. What driver wouldn't be upset with that move?
Right.
But all I'm saying is if you dish it out, you got to be able to take it.
Well, I'm starting to like the kid more and more. But here's the thing about it is, the kid has got tons of talent too.
He's showing it.
Would you agree with that, Austin? That the kid has got talent?
Oh, I mean, you don't just hop into an Xfinity car and go out and win in your couple first starts.
Do you think it's because he's a spoon-fed kid and he's had everything and he's just had everything handed to him? He's got the best equipment money could buy, obviously, right? You think that's it? But listen, you can have the best car that money can buy, and if you don't have any talent, you're not going to run up front.
You're exactly right. I think, that his situation that he's in, he's held to a kind of a higher standard. So, that's why he takes a lot more criticism. But, you're going to be under that microscope when you're in that situation.
Yeah, no doubt.
Did he won in his first Xfinity start on the road course down at Daytona, did he not?
He did.
His first start?
He did.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah,
That's impressive when you went on a road course like that, your first start.
I think he's won, how many races?
He's won 3 or 4 this year.
Yeah.
I mean, we're only 8 races, 7 races in.
That kid has got the stuff going on.
He won out here at Kansas Speedway Xfinity race last year.
Yep, no doubt. All right, well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we've got a lot of sound lined up for you today. Chase Rodman, who is the pit reporter for the World of Outlaws. We spoke with him this week. Brent Marks, who picked up the World of Outlaw victory down at Devil's Bowl last weekend. Blake Hahn, Billy Rock, who is the voice of MLRA, and Blackjack Brian Brown. We've got sound from all of those people. It's all next right here on Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Track Talk. As your power steering pump ages, seal leaks may occur, causing the power steering system to lose fluid. Your power steering system may also develop an annoying squeal, and the steering may become more difficult to handle. By using Lucas Power Steering Stop Leak, you will stop the seal leaks, reduce slack in rack and pinion, eliminate the squeals and hard spots in your power steering system. It is guaranteed to stop seal leaks or your money back. Lucas Power Steering Stop Leak. It works.
Kansas City's nicest upscale golf course, the Golf Club at Creekmore, is offering a preview 3-month trial membership. Come see why Golf Digest ranks it as one of the best courses you can play in the state in 2020. And Creekmore has a great new twilight rate for golf after 5 p.m. It's only $25 per person, including cart for as much golf as you can play. Host of several prestigious events annually, such as the U.S. Open Qualifier. Play more at Creekmore by calling 816-331-2621. Your only short drive of the day will be getting there. Hey Jayhawk fans, the Hawks are national champions. Get your limited edition framed 15x17 photo collage commemorating the Kansas Jayhawks 2021-22 basketball season and national championship. Each photo lists regular season record, school logo, national championship logo, Final Four logo, championship history, and road to the national championship breakdown. This is a limited edition of only 5,000 exclusive to Nico Sports. $5 of each piece sold is being donated to Make-A-Wish Missouri and Kansas. It comes ready to hang or display, and it's only $99 each. That's right, just $99 each. Fans can order now at NicoSports.com. That's NIKCOSports.com, or by calling 800-345-2868. That's NicoSports.com, NIKCOSports.com, or 800-345-2868. Celebrate the Jayhawks run to the national championship with this limited edition framed photo.
What if you could combine the power of people and technology so when you're buying or selling your home, you have the best resources saving you time and money? Well, you can with the Brimacombe & Cohen team, founding partners of Compass Realty. Brimacombe & Cohen and Compass Realty are the only Kansas City company who have the tools to make your largest transactions stress-free. Want to learn more about Compass Concierge and the special programs available to you? Contact Shannon Brimacombe at 913-269-1740 for more information.
So spring is just around the corner, and if you've been having issues with your furnace, now's the best time of the year to replace it. It's Free Furnace Month at Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. When you replace your system, your furnace is free. Don't wait and pay more. Save your money for March Madness and get the ball rolling on your free furnace. Trust me, I trusted Anthony, and I have a new system, and you should too. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
Attention golfers, Casey's best value in golf is at Great Life Golf. They have the best deal you won't want to miss. Join any Great Life Classic Golf Club today and enjoy incredible perks. As a Great Life Classic member, you'll enjoy unlimited golf at all 6 Great Life Classic golf courses. Plus, members have priority access to book tee times so you can golf where you want and when you want as a Great Life Classic member. Join Great Life today at GreatLifeKC.com and enjoy all the benefits of a Great Life Classic membership. That's GreatLifeKC.com.
Welcome back to Track Talk. I'm Scott Traylor. He's Kirk Elliott. We're the Racing Boys. We appreciate you tuning in here to Sports Radio 810 WHB. Don't forget hour number 2. You can watch it on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or RacingBoys.com. 4 different platforms for you to watch it on. Don't forget we do a daily show every day, Monday through Friday. That's right, we're on the air 6 days a week. Austin and I are on Monday through Friday. It's called Mostly Motorsports. And, well, that's what it's all about. It's mostly about motorsports, but we get off topic a little bit. And, man, we've got, 40-some states watching every day. And the response of the podcast has been phenomenal, man. We have been just really happy with everything that's going on with the podcast. So, don't forget, that's 12 noon Central Time. You can watch it daily, and it usually goes for an hour, hour and a half, whatever. And we just kind of hang out and shoot the bull and have a lot of great guests on. And one of the great guests that we had on last weekend was Chase Rodman. And Chase Rodman is the pit reporter for the World of Outlaws. And, Kirk, we talked to him about Brad Sweet and if he was going to win his 4th championship.
Yeah, and it was a very interesting interview. Chase Rodman, by the way, is a great pit reporter, does a great job on the Dirt Vision broadcasts, and You called him very studious, and he explained all the prep work that he does. Very good job, what he's doing, and you'll see him tonight. Those of you not able to make it down to Lake Ozark Speedway on the Dirt Vision broadcast. And here's a portion of the conversation that Scott Traylor had with Chase Broadman on Mostly Motorsports from earlier this week.
Let's get into the world of outlaws, and let's talk about Brad Sweet. He's got a 32-point lead over Carson Macedo and a 44-point lead over David Gravel. Can Brad do it again this year?
Well, right now, I would say all signs are pointing towards yes, especially this weekend. I feel like he's going to extend that point lead, honestly. I mean, these types of racetracks, these 3/8, these quarter-mile tracks, I feel like he's had the best average finish of anybody over the last, 3 seasons or so.
Yeah.
And he's pretty hot right now, man. And he won at Votto. And then at Devil's Bowl, obviously the racetrack wasn't quite, where you needed to be able to make a lot of passes. So I think he's finished like 8th or something. But these tracks this week, and obviously almost won the last time we were at Lake or at US 36. Haudenschild got by him there. But yeah, Brad this year, man, I think he does go for the 4-peat. But I will say that it seems like those guys, him and Eric Prutzman and Andrew Bowman, Joe Mooney, the whole crew, I feel like they're not quite where they want to be right now. And Brad has mentioned that a couple times in his interviews. Even when he won at Votto, you could just kind of tell that he wasn't as confident in his car as we've seen in the last 2 years or so. Mm-hmm. I still think they're missing something to where they want to be at and be, contending for the win every night. And it seems like every night right now they're in the top 5, but which is kind of a bad look for the rest of the guys on the tour, because if Brad says his car's not where it needs to be and he's still winning and he's still running on the podium every night, they might be in trouble for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it was amazing that he picked up that first win at Votto, but that was his first win since Skagit. What was it, Labor Day last year? It was unbelievable that it took him that long to get a win.
Yeah, and I asked him about that at Votto and Victory Lane, and he was just saying that, after Skagit, he was just kind of in points mode. He wasn't trying to, mess anything up, didn't want to wreck, didn't want to cost himself any extra points. So it seemed like he was kind of maybe playing it safe last year after that last win at Skagit, which I understand. And, but that was when Johnny had mentioned that, he said, oh, yeah, Brad hasn't won since Labor Day last year. And that didn't really, make a big deal to me. That didn't seem like a big deal to me. But I was like, man, that was at Skagit. That is a long time ago for Brad to not win. And I was looking over his last 3 championship seasons, and I want to say the longest he had gone without a win in any of those championship seasons was 10 races.
Wow.
And I want to say when he won at Votto, that was the 11th race. So that was actually the longest he'd gone in a season without a win in any of his championship seasons. So it was definitely a long time.
Yeah. All you have to do is look at his stats to tell you how good he is. Out of the 12 races this year, he's had 9 top 5s and 11 top 10s out of 12 races. That tells you everything, because if you look at the other drivers, nobody even comes close to that number, with the exception of David Gravel, who has 8 top 5s.
Yeah, and I want to say Gravel, I feel like he could still have that streak going, because he was, Brad, I think the first race, Brad was like 13th or something at Volusia. But David was the only guy to have a top 10 in every race, I want to say up to Cotton Bowl. And then when we went to California, Merced, I can't remember what happened to him, but something broke or he got hit by a lap car or something, and he crashed out and had to go to the work area, came back out, did not finish top 10. And then the next night, or the next race or whatever at Tulare, he had another, mechanical problem or something running in the top 5 on one of the nights. And, maybe that was actually at Bakersfield. Actually, that was at Bakersfield when Sheldon, spun out and David was coming around to lap him. And David ran into his spun-out car. I want to say if Gravel did not get in those 2 incidents, he would be right there with Brad. I'm talking within 10 points. So Gravel had a couple of, bad races there. But I want to say that, right now the 2 car is the best car on the tour. He just hasn't had any luck the last few weeks to show that.
All right, there you have it. Chase Rodman. He is the World of Outlaw pit reporter. He was supposed to be up at US 36 Raceway last night. If you didn't hear, it got rained out. And tonight they'll be racing down at Eldon, Missouri, Lake Ozark Speedway. Great little racetrack down there by Bagnell Dam, not too far, about 7 miles from Bagnell Dam. I'm going to be down there tonight. I know Deidre and I are going down there. We're going to hang out with Blake Hahn and Sierra and watch some good racing down at Lake Ozark Speedway. And the great thing about it is, again, folks, if you haven't heard, that not only going to run the conventional 410 wing sprint cars with the World of Outlaws, they're also going to run non-wing sprint cars with POWRi in the Extreme Outlaw Series. So they'll be running down there. There's going to be a lot of really good non-wing drivers down there tonight.
Then the World of Outlaws paying tribute to Jason Johnson tonight.
Yeah, Jason Johnson Classic.
Yeah, the shop.
Hey, and right when you say that, Kirk,
right,
we have 41 viewers watching this right now online.
How appropriate is that?
That was cool.
And can Carson Macedo pull off the win tonight in the 41 car? That shop not located too far away from.
Has the 41 car ever won the Jason Johnson Classic?
It seemed like
I think it did one year.
Didn't
Gravel win?
Didn't Gravel win that?
I think he won in it one year, didn't he?
Because I was there. I was there the year I think Brad won in 2019. That's the year I went.
Yeah, I think the 41 car won with David Gravel in it one time.
Seems so. I'd have to check on that just to be sure. My memory, I see so many races during the year I can't remember.
Yeah,
$15,000 to win tonight for the World of Outlaws. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, another interview that we did last week was with Brent Marks, and Brent Marks picked up the victory down at Devil's Bowl Speedway with the World of Outlaws. And one of the big conversations, it's probably been the biggest conversation on our show during the week on Mostly Motorsports, is Hoosier tires. Is there going to be enough tires this year? Are we going to make it through the year? Is there going to be enough tires for all the World of Outlaws, all of ASCS? I mean, listen, there is a tire shortage that's unbelievable going on right now. And we had a chance to talk to Brent Marks about Hoosier and if there's going to be enough tires for the rest of the year. All right, every once in a while I got to ask a hard question, and this is going to be a hard question for me to ask, but I got to ask you, they put the Hoosier thing around your neck, and right before you went up and got your trophy, you ripped it off and took it off. What is there a story behind all that?
Yeah, I guess it's starting to take the second increase of the year, and it's just frustrating, because I can understand maybe a $5, $10, $15 price increase, but they're hitting us $30, $40 at a shot.
Yeah, no
and
doubt.
we're up close to almost $100 more tire than we were last year, and keep hearing rumors of this summer it's going to go up again, and it's like, man, I'll be honest with you, I spent $70,000 in tires last year, and this year with these tire price increases, I'm projecting $95,000 to $100,000, and our budgets were already set for the year, and that's the frustrating part. I can't, my sponsors already set their budget, so I can't go back to them and ask for more money because they've already made their budgets for the year, and it's just very frustrating, and there's not a whole lot of communication going on about any of it. And I just, I'll be honest with you, I just have a hard time being forced to run a logo on my car that I think is not really helping the racers out at all. So
yeah, do you think
that's why I did that?
Do you think we'll run out of tires before the year's up? During I've been saying it on this show for the last few days that I'm a little concerned when we get to July and August that we're going to run out of tires. Do you think that might be the case?
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I don't know. That's one thing I really haven't heard any rumors about. And that's another thing, like I said, about the communication. It would be nice if they had an open dialogue with us and just kind of let us know what the future looks like. Because, we don't know. We just, all of a sudden, we wake up one morning and find out, oh, well, this is happening. There's just no communication. It's very frustrating. And, and it's hard to run a race team like that when you're living with so many unknowns.
No doubt.
But I don't know. We'll see. I'm not saying we need to change tire companies or open the tire roll-up or anything like that. I just think something needs to be done about it, whether it's, okay, maybe we need to start looking at what some of these other series do and implement a medium right rear tire. That's what you have to run, and you can get some extra nights out of it. I mean, it doesn't sound like much money that night, but if you can get an extra night or two out of a right rear tire, that adds up to a lot of money at the end of the year.
No doubt about it.
A lot of money.
Yeah, no doubt.
And they're not talking hundreds of dollars; they're talking thousands of dollars. So it's
right.
I just think something needs to happen, and I felt like, I was frustrated with the situation, and I felt like I was in a spot that, I could maybe try to open some people's eyes up about making a change,
Yeah.
as far as like the rules go. And, like I said, I'm not saying we need to get rid of Hoosier or, open the tire roll up and allow other companies to come in, because I just don't think that other companies can, produce what we need.
All right, there you have it. Brent Marks, who picked up the victory down at Devil's Bowl Speedway with the World of Outlaws last weekend, talking about Hoosiers. Man, can you imagine spending $70,000 on tires, Austin? Can you even imagine that?
I get scared when I spend $1,500 on new tires.
Which you did this week, didn't you?
I did. That was not fun. And I couldn't imagine having my whole year budgeted out to, $70,000 to $90,000, like he said in there. It's just it's ridiculous.
It's crazy. I can understand why he's so frustrated about it. They set their budgets at the beginning of the year. That they know they got everything down of what they're going to spend, and they have this kind of increase when it just seemed to come out of nowhere. I get the frustration of where he's coming from. Boy, he smoked him down there at Devil's Bowl the other night, didn't he? $20,000, and he was rocking and rolling on that heavy racetrack.
Let's be honest, the track was pretty fast and narrow, though. So, he started up towards the front, and he picked up the victory. But you don't want to take anything away from anybody. Everybody's racing on the same racetrack, right?
I thought maybe Brian Brown starting up front had a pretty good shot at it. He led, the first 4 laps of that race?
Yeah.
Just couldn't hang on. Marks was just a lot faster.
To me, Austin, I don't know about you, but it didn't seem like Brown had the speed.
No, Brian's car didn't fire. It fired off and it was good, but he wasn't good in traffic.
Yeah.
He got to the dirty air and he couldn't. With the track being that narrow, you couldn't really move around, and he had to be in one spot, and he couldn't really adjust his car that much.
And Brent Marks, Brent Marks, he really worked the traffic really well. He was just cutting right through it like.
Yeah, he made a couple changes after the dash, to kind of accommodate for the traffic, where Brown didn't do that, and it kind of bit Brown and benefited Marks.
Yeah, no doubt.
When's the last time you saw a track like that at Devil's Bowl? They got a lot of rain down there. So.
Well, a couple weeks ago when we saw ASCS down there, it rubbered up.
Yeah, they've had some unfortunate, variables thrown at them, but you go from one extreme of rubber to one extreme of being heavy, and, they'll figure it out at some point, but, just can't control the weather.
Yeah, they were just a victim of the weather down there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, well, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to play a little bit more sound. We've got about a 3-minute interview or a segment. Listen, folks, what you're listening to is just a portion of these interviews. These interviews are full-length interviews. They're about 20 minutes long. We're only playing you about 3 or 4 minutes. If you want to hear them in their entirety, all you need to do is go to wherever you find your favorite podcast. That's all you've got to do. Wherever you find your favorite podcast, we're on like 100 different channels. You can find it anywhere. So if you want to listen to these shows in their entirety, which we're getting tons of downloads, and we want to thank everybody that downloads the show, just go to wherever you find your favorite podcast, look up Mostly Motorsports, you'll find it. Or you can go to racingboys.com. We have a banner on the homepage of racingboys.com where you can just click on the banner, the Mostly Motorsports banner, and it will take you right to the page so you can download any of the shows that we've done here recently. What are we on, number 60 what?
We finished 64 yesterday.
64 yesterday. Man, they're going fast now. It's unbelievable. All right, well, thanks, folks. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. We're going to play another interview with Blake Hahn. And in hour number 2, we've got an interview with the voice of MLRA, the late model series that ran out at 81 Speedway last night, Billy Rock, as well as Brian Brown. All that next right here on Track Talk, and it's all brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. We'll be back with more here on Sports Radio 810 WHB when we get back.
Track Talk.
Next to your vehicle's engine, your transmission is the most important component of your car. If it's not properly maintained, your car may not shift properly. By adding Lucas Transmission Fix to your transmission, it cleans and lubricates sticking valves for proper shifting, renews worn bands to stop slipping, stops seal leaks, will not void new car warranties, contains no harmful solvents. Lucas Transmission Fix. It works.
Whether we're talking football or banking services for your business, success means being where you're needed when you're needed. At CoreFirst Bank, Brandon Myers gets it. He's local, experienced, and there when you need him most. Meet Brandon at corefirstbank.com/lend today. CoreFirst Bank, member FDIC.
You're right on par in your M&M golf car.
M&M Golf Cars is proud to offer the Onward Club Car, dynamic stability, handling, and superior comfort just in time for the warm weather. The entire family will love it. M&M Golf Cars at 4252 Northeast Port Drive in Lee Summit. Call 816-795-7575 or visit mmgolfcars.com.
You're right on par in your M&M golf car. M&M golf cars.
Foley Rental is your local equipment rental store for commercial, industrial, farm, and residential project needs with a large fleet of aerial lifts, generators, trench shoring, air conditioners, and concrete equipment. And Foley Rental offers a wide selection of machine attachments for skid steers, excavators, and loaders, all supported by over 400 certified technicians. Foley Rental, committed to you from the ground up. Call 855-RENT-FOLEY or visit FoleyRental.com.
Royals opening week continues Saturday and Sunday, and if you can't be at the K, you can see all the action on Bally Sports Kansas City. The Royals face the Guardians Saturday with Royals live pregame starting at 2:30 and Sunday at 12:30. All weekend, Ryan, Hud, Monty, and Joe have the call for Royals baseball. It's the Royals and Guardians this weekend on Bally Sports Kansas City and the Bally Sports app. For more information on getting Bally Sports Kansas City, visit GetMyHomeTeams.com.
Mrs. Fogelman, ready to hustle for that muscle.
Membership numbers at Sly's Gym have been racking up.
22 people have signed up for 6 a.m. buns of steel.
Now he needs more certified trainers to do all the heavy lifting.
I'm going to have to bulk up my staff.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Kansas City's hometown sports station, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I've never felt more connected to a group than I have this year. I never said a word to these guys about anything I was going through, but they rose their own level to a level that propped
All right,
me
boys,
up.
our
And
out
so
time
this
is
is
going to
what
be about
makes
56,
coaching
okay?
the best.
When you want
Tim,
the latest
10-4.
on your favorite teams, tune into your hometown radio station, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Back in
At
90.
Robert Brogdon's Olathe Buick GMC, your
10-4.
car buying experience just got better. Not only do they have the best selection around, they're offering 90-day money-back guarantee on new vehicle purchases. That's right, buy any new Buick or GMC from Brogdon, and if you're not completely satisfied, return it for a full refund. From the 2022 GMC Yukon and Sierra 1500 Limited to the Buick Encore GX, now is the time to buy. Visit robertbrogdon.com or stop by I-35 in Santa Fe and Olathe. Customer must register vehicle. See dealer for details.
Hey guys, it's Todd Lebo here, and spring is sprung in Kansas City. It's a perfect time to transform your home inside or out with fresh new color from my friends at CertaPro Painters. They've always done great work for me from beginning to end. They never disappoint. You can schedule a free estimate online right now at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Don't delay. Their schedules fill up fast. Now, each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated, so they really are your local neighborhood painters. Log on right now to get your free estimate at CertaPro.com.
30 seconds.
Hello, Kansas City. It's Matt Beasler, former Sporting KC cap. Did you know you can recognize outstanding teachers and students in our community by nominating them as Blue KC Sporting Samaritans? We've partnered with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City to recognize administrators, teachers, and students who make our community a better place to live, work, and play. Each Blue KC Sporting Samaritan will be recognized at a Sporting KC home match throughout the 2002 regular season. They'll receive tickets to a match and be provided with SKC merchandise and more. To learn additional information about the program and to nominate a Blue KC Sporting Samaritan, visit sportingkc.com/BlueKC.
Welcome back to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, as well as RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. Don't forget, hour number 2, you can watch it exclusively on our Facebook page, our YouTube page, our Twitter page, and racingboys.com. Hour number 2 is a little bit different than hour number 1 because it's straight internet. So it gets a little crazy sometimes, hour number 2, doesn't it, Kirk? Once in a while?
Yeah, it loosens up, shall we say.
It loosens up just a little bit in hour number 2.
We get loose.
Yeah, right. But it's going to be good, and we're going to play a couple interviews in hour number 2. One that I'm really looking forward to playing for you guys is the voice of MLRA, the late model series that ran down at 81 last night. Bobby Pierce picked up the win down there last night, but Billy Rock, the voice of MLRA, we're going to play a short little clip of Billy Rock as well as Brian Brown. And Austin, I wanted you to jump in here and tell everybody what they need to do if they want to download this. Go ahead and give them a rundown.
Yeah, so if you like these clips that we were playing and you are a, podcaster and you like to, listen to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can just look up Mostly Motorsports on there and find our 64 shows we've done so far. But if you don't have that, you can go to our YouTube page where I post all these clips after the show today, and in the description below you'll see a link. That link will take you to that episode that corresponds with the highlight clip. So if you listen to one Brent Marks, you can go to the description, see a link, click that one, and go right to Brent Marks' interview on Mostly Motorsports, and you can catch the show right there.
Right.
And like I said, also in right there, and where you're watching, if you're on Facebook today, now,
you're putting those links up at these interviews.
They're
right?
in there, and the main link to all of them are right there it's pinned at the bottom of your page. You just click that logo that says Mostly Motorsports, and that'll take you to every episode that we have.
And the banner at the top of the racingboys.com
will do the same thing.
Will take you to all the podcasts. All you got to do is click on it.
That's right. That's the same one.
There's not a very flattering picture of me at the top up there, so
work on that. Right?
Just click on that, and it will take you to it. So, Kirk, I had a chance to talk to Blake Hahn.
Blake Hahn won a big race down at 81 Speedway last Saturday night, and he was a guest on Mostly Motorsports this past week. He talks about making that pass over the young Ryan Timms for the lead and the victory last week down at 81 Speedway.
I want to talk about that race. Ryan Timms was out there on you just a little bit. Where did you feel that you were better than Ryan during that race last weekend?
Well, I was in the same heat race with Ryan too, and I started right behind him. And with the style of track that is, we got kind of spread out in the heat race. Only 8 laps, so we got spread out and kind of just had a good all hot lap session there, and didn't really get to do a whole lot of stuff for the heat race, and was able to start first, drew the 4, and so started the first couple of rows of the A feature, and had a really good starting spot. I knew Ryan was going to be really hard to beat, being on the front row, to get out there and have some good laps for him. And I just kind of figured out I'd just stay in line and, just try to get some good consistent laps. I figured it was going to be such a long race, and I imagined we would have been in lap traffic. And, really, I didn't imagine I was going to catch Ryan a whole lot if we were in open track, and I had to look for some traffic. So thankfully we got in it pretty quick, honestly, and that's when it kind of got a little hairy. I got it where Ryan was sliding a few guys and then make it where I could get a little bit of run on him. And I run on him off of 4 one time, just not a good enough drive to get down into 1 and slide him, and decided to get back in line. And, really the lap traffic made it hairy there for a bit. We actually got slid by Westbrook for second, and the caution came out. So kind of reset the field there and had a few laps with open traffic, and once we caught the end of the field, it was kind of game on. I knew we were going to get Ryan to get off the top once we got to lap traffic. So really, I just waited for the right time and tried to make sure I had my good run going once he did go off the top. And the way it worked out, I just had a little bit of a good run down the back straightaway with some lap traffic in our view, so we were able to kind of go for the slider in 3 once we had a good run down the back straightaway. And, I knew once I got to the top of 4 that I had to get back on it pretty quick and get into 1, and I knew the slider was coming from him. So, with how tricky turns 1 and 2 was, it really wasn't ideal for me to be burying it off in there in turn 1 with the slider coming, but I knew it was coming, so I was able to, drive it in pretty deep and see what we had going, and luckily I had enough momentum. We were able to get back around them off 2, and I knew at that point I just had to go out there and just keep hitting my marks and try to stay on the top as much as I can. And, last lap I had to slide a lap car, and it made it where he could get a good run down to 3. So, that was another time I just told myself just bury it in there as hard as I can. And,
right.
Thankfully we were able to get a good run off the 4 and take home this victory.
All right, there you have it, Blake Hahn, after his victory at 81 Speedway. Man, that racetrack has turned into such a great facility. Years past when they didn't have the wall around the outside and the inside of it, that track used to always take rubber. And it seems like for whatever reason after they put the wall up, and maybe it's because Johnny Allen's down there running it, that the racetrack is much better than it has been in years past.
Well, that Speed Week race down there last year when Ryan Timms won, that was a hell of a race. Mm-hmm. And we've seen some great modified races down there, too. USMTS has put on some fantastic shows over the last couple of years down at that racetrack. So they've done a really good job.
Austin, let me ask you a question. Why do you think that racetrack is better now that they have the wall around it? Do you have any idea? Have you raced on it since they put the wall up?
I haven't. I was going to at the race that Blake won. I think it's a combination of different things. One, we can kind of keep, a cushion on it with the wall. And then you have Johnny Allen, who's just a master of all trades, and dirt racing. And, you get a good combination like that, set together, and you're going to be set up for success, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Now, last night, I guess Bobby...
I think the key is Johnny Allen, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look what he's done. He's been there for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And C. Ray Hall, he owned that racetrack forever.
Yeah, but C. Ray Hall, when he had that racetrack, it always rubbered up.
Yeah.
It always rubbered up. Tommy says it's because they put more water on it.
Well, whatever they're doing right now is the trick, that's for sure. And last night, we didn't get to see last night's race down there, but I guess Bobby Pierce...
Hold on a second.
Bobby Pierce started third and led the whole way last night.
Let me ask you something. Why in the world is MLRA not being streamed live on the internet? Can we answer that question?
I don't know.
We need to call our good friends over there at Lucas Oil Productions and ask them why they're not doing that.
You'd think they'd be on MAV TV.
You would absolutely think they were on MAV Plus. I would think so.
I don't know the answer to that, but I would have liked to have seen it last night. So I'll bet they had a heck of a crowd down. They'll have a big crowd down there tonight.
Yeah.
Pays $7,000 to win.
Yeah.
Defending champion Tony Jackson Jr. had trouble last night, didn't finish the race, so we'll see how this points battle goes this year.
30. Yep. All right, well, listen, folks, hour number 2 is coming up. You can watch it on our Facebook page, Twitter account, YouTube, or racingboys.com. It's all brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works. Lee Spencer is going to join us as well. We're going to have
15.
sound from Billy Rock and Brian Brown. We hope that you'll join us. Hour number 2 of Track Talk, again on RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. We want to thank Blake, Austin, Todd, my partner Kirk Elliott. We'll see you hour number 2 coming up.
Thanks, my friend.
Know what's nice? You could
Timed
drive
out
to
like a
Whataburger
professional,
right now
fellas. Good
if
job.
you wanted to.
Perfect.
Yeah, you could hang a Louie, talk to Reggie
Thanks,
at the
Blake.
counter,
Have a
and
good
get
weekend,
freshly
all right?
made
Yeah, you boys have a good
100%
weekend. Let's go
double
Royals.
meat Whataburger with
Yeah.
melted
Go Royals.
cheese and fresh cut veggies on a 5-inch bun. It's just the delicious freedom you have living in the land where
Taking care of your car is a responsibility. It ensures the long life of your car and its expensive components. That's why Lucas Oil takes automotive protection so seriously. Lucas heavy-duty oil stabilizer bonds with motor oil to shield engines from heat and wear. So take pride in caring for your car and pass that pride and knowledge to the next generation for years of smooth, reliable driving. on the long road ahead. Trust Lucas Oil. It works.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Sure, especially sportswear in-house. We do all of the screen printing, all the embroidery. We do some vinyl. The other add specialty items like your pens, magnets, notepads, calendars. You can actually buy that, build your business to make it larger. We have the largest screen printing process and the largest embroidery anywhere around in the area. We can do stuff all the way from your school clubs to sports teams, a professional look in the office. If you can imagine it, we can do it for you.
One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas Fuel Treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system, pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas Fuel Treatment. It works. There is less than 1/100th of an inch of motor oil protecting your car's engine. Friction and heat causes engine oil to experience thermal breakdown, weakening its ability to protect the engine and its parts. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer is specially formulated to resist thermal breakdown, protect vital engine parts, and extend the life of your engine. It also stops smoking, knocking, and oil consumption in worn engines. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer. Keep that engine alive.
Missouri's must play getaway. Osage National Golf Resort.
3 9-hole courses to choose from at the Lake of the Ozarks in the Osage River Valley. Stay and play packages in our first-class condos. A beautiful clubhouse complete with pro shop and exercise facilities. A large pool for relaxation and families. The Eagle View Sports Bar and Grill. Great wedding facilities. Go online and make your tee time today.
Race fans, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open 7 days a week, year-round, for you to come in and check out all of the wonderful race cars on display in the museum. And our online store at sprintcarstuff.com is open 24 hours a day for you to check out everything that we have in stock for sprint car fans. Whether it's for a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas, sprintcarstuff.com has it all. That's at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
Next to your vehicle's engine, your transmission is the most important component of your car. If it's not properly maintained, your car may not shift properly. By adding Lucas Transmission Fix to your transmission, it cleans and lubricates sticking valves for proper shifting, renews worn bands to stop slipping, stops seal leaks, will not void new car warranties, contains no harmful solvents. Lucas Transmission Fix. It works.
Hey, this is Larry the Cable Guy, and you're listening to Racing Boys, and if you ain't listening to them, you get out of the country because you're a communist. I love the Racing Boys. Like Mater says, they make me happier than a tornado in a trailer park. You know the funny thing about that is, the Larry voice and the Mater voice are exactly the same. Get her done!
Welcome to Hour 2 of Track Talk on the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. Brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. Made in America, sold to the world. Here again are the Racing Boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Welcome back. It's Track Talk. It's hour number 2. It's the best hour in motorsports as far as I'm concerned. Other than Monday through Friday, mostly motorsports with me and Austin O'Neill. Man, we want to thank everybody that's tuned in to the show during the week. It has just been way better than we thought it was going to be, right? I mean, listen, we kind of get a little bit dogged on because we're a live show daily. Some people think of podcasts as recorded shows that you go back and listen to later. Not so much for Mostly Motorsports. What we do is we go live every day at 12 noon Central Time, and we do an hour, hour and a half, whatever. There's really no stop time when it comes to Mostly Motorsports, Monday through Friday, 12 noon Central Time. You can watch it on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or RacingBoys.com. And then as soon as the show's over, we pull it down to where you can't watch it on those entities anymore, those platforms. And then you have to go and find it wherever you find your favorite podcast, wherever that is. Just go to your search engine, put in Mostly Motorsports, and it will take you to our broadcast of Mostly Motorsports. And, man, we've had a lot of great guests on this week. We had Chase Rodman on, Brent Marks, Blake Hahn, Billy Rock, Brian Brown. Who else do we have on?
You had the Postman on, did you? Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday we have Steve Post, the Postman, on from Wing Nation. He's on with us as well. So we have a lot of great guests on. And, Kirk, it's been going pretty good, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's a good show. Yeah, I enjoy listening to that. I'm a fan. So I'm among the many listeners now that you have.
I was thinking about this last night, Kirk. Austin O'Neill is going to be the new Kirk Elliott eventually.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Why wouldn't you say?
Because he's more. I think of Austin more of a race car driver.
Well, no, but he's a producer now.
Yeah,
and
he's doing a great job.
And when you leave,
I'm not a race car driver.
Hold on, I don't know if anybody's heard. Kirk Elliott is retiring at the end of the year. Isn't that right, Kirk?
Well, yeah. I'm just. I don't know. I hate the word retire.
You're not going to be sitting in the studio with me every Saturday morning.
I hate that word retire.
But that's what you're doing.
Retire means you're going to go to die. I'm not going to do that.
Kirk, that's not what retiring means. Retiring means you're getting ready to go enjoy the rest of your life.
Yeah. I don't know. I just always hate that word retire.
What do you think, that's a death nail or something? Huh?
No, I'm going to go watch Cyclone footballs on Saturday afternoon.
But my point is that you're not going to be in here on Saturday mornings with me.
After the
so you know
Cup weekend in September at Kansas Speedway.
So you know what that means, don't you? That my new on-air partner is going to be Austin O'Neill.
Yeah. He's ready to go right now.
Listen, bud, he does a good job, doesn't he?
Great job.
Yeah.
He's ready to do it right now.
And we appreciate Todd coming in here and helping out. Now, Todd's going to be stepping in when Austin has to go out and do some races and whatnot when he can't make it in here. So Todd's going to be around forever. You'll be down here helping him with Mostly Motorsports, won't you, Todd?
Most definitely.
Yeah. All right, when you're in here, Todd, the topics are going to be different than when I'm talking with Austin.
Yeah, things change a little bit when I roll in.
Because you watch television and you listen to music, so I'll talk about television and music with you. Here's the problem with Austin. Let me just tell you a little issue that I have with Austin.
You got blinders, I know that.
No, he doesn't watch TV.
You know what?
He doesn't watch TV.
It's racing,
he does.
Racing TV.
He just watches.
I've seen Austin watch TV.
He only watches races.
I don't think
Austin. When has he ever watched you watch TV?
I was going to say
was it
down at the Chili Bowl.
Yeah.
You're watching TV.
It was Netflix.
It was about the F1, right?
So it was
about racing.
It was about racing, though, right?
No, it was probably a couple weeks ago. It's at Chad's house. I know Chad's going to correct me if I don't say it.
What'd you watch?
I think it was, I don't know the name of it. It was the Kevin James's NASCAR Netflix show.
I saw that.
Hold on. So it was a racing show.
Yeah.
It was it's a new sitcom about.
It wasn't a regular TV show.
Well, it's a sitcom though.
It is?
Yeah, it's a sitcom, and he's a NASCAR guy. But it's an actual.
Hold on, what is the name of that show?
It's only on.
They're going to look for it now.
It's only on Netflix or Hulu and
Austin,
stuff.
he's digging on his phone all the time.
You're all about racing, though, right,
That's
Austin?
the
You're
new-
really not a big sports fan of any other sport. Racing is what it's all about, right?
He doesn't even watch the Chiefs games.
They're on because he only knows.
You know why he doesn't watch Chiefs games? Because he thinks he's bad luck.
Here's what these people like he learns by osmosis, and what that is, he's in a room, right?
Yeah.
When the Chiefs and things, me and Kirk talk about things, me and you talk about
Right.
things, and he picks those things up. So he's learning them, even though he isn't. That's by osmosis. It's just seeping into him, right? And coming
Seeping into his pores from
and like I
just
said,
talking
and
around
he
him.
may not know that but one day he'll be like, I know some Van Halen like trivia. I know some trivia about that, and the reason why
I know how big of an asshole Scott Traylor
I mean,
is.
there's just little things that'll seep in. But yeah.
No, that show's called The Crew.
Yeah, The Crew.
Now, what's it air on?
Netflix.
Netflix.
Yeah, I'll
The
pull
Crew.
Yeah, it's actually. I mean, it's Kevin James.
Wow, how about that? I did not know that.
Have you ever heard the rumor about Kevin? Not the rumor. Have you ever heard what? You're not. He's. I don't know this myself. This is just from the many things. But when they go in like to a store and stuff, he has the employees are not allowed to talk to him or look at him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's Kevin James. It ain't like you're.
He's almost too tall back there, with his hair all
Austin?
spiked up.
Yeah,
Well, my hair is pretty long right
He's
now.
got it pumped up.
Yeah.
I'm getting a haircut Wednesday.
You need to put
So
a
it's
little blonde tips on it.
Here's the.
Oh, they're already on there.
Kevin,
they're starting to fade out.
Did your dad use your hair?
I think he copied me.
He did. He's wanting to look young like you.
So Kevin James went the route like Scott did. If you're looking at the picture on the board there.
Well, man, there's nothing wrong with bald.
No, I'm just saying he decided to.
Listen, it's like I had a choice.
So you might like this show, Scott. There's a picture of.
Yeah, I might look in. Hey, Vicky Watland chimed in. She said, "Right now, it's the real world. I am dealing with it every day. Steel and aluminum are changing monthly. Shortages everywhere. Your dad probably talks about that too, doesn't he?
I hear it every once in a while about the lead times for tubing, and it's
Not
over a
good.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's affecting everything, not just racing, so not just tires.
That's like, if you buy a new car from Maxim, it's over a year out. You got to order it now, and you should have it, probably February of next year, if you're lucky.
Crazy world we're living in right now.
Man, oh man, it is kind of crazy out there. So, I'm just looking back up through here some of the posts some of the people put out. Chris Lane says he's going to go down to the lake tonight. He said him keeping his helmet on and throwing punches is just another example he wants to dish it out but not take it. There's a little truth to that. Mark Pierce said Scott and I would fight anybody at the track, helmet on or off. Don't give a shit. I think that's what he meant. Here's our buddy Marvin. He's checking in from Miamisburg, Ohio. He's a regular listener Monday through Friday. We want to thank you so much, Marvin, for always tuning into the show. This isn't boxing. Boxing it's racing. I don't care. I still want to see some roughneck. Don't you want to see some roughneck out there?
I was thoroughly entertained by what happened last night, and I'm happy they did it out in front of the crowd. That's the way you ought to do it. So if you're going to throw down, you do it the way Ty Gibbs did with Sam Mayer.
Well, you do it where the fans can see you.
Absolutely.
That's the most important thing.
Well, that was the rule at the Chili Bowl, remember?
Right.
Don't fight on the
ramp.
Yeah, the ramp.
Yeah,
Right.
get it out where people can see it.
Yeah. If I owned a racetrack, I'd put a boxing ring in the middle of the racetrack. Then at the end of the night, if anybody wanted to rough it up, come on down, put on the gloves, and we'll put on a little extra show.
We'll pay you $100 if you do it in the ring.
Right. Or better yet, pay him $200 a piece.
Yeah, 100 on the track, 200 in the ring.
It'd be worth it. You know how many people would stick around till the
You
end
get
of the
suspended
race
a week
to
if
see
you do it in
that?
the pits.
Oh, that'd be great. You think people would stick around to see that?
Well, I mean, if it was a big enough story, yeah.
You know, that's why I like hockey so much. Those guys, they throw down.
Hey,
right
you'll be
there
proud
on the
of me.
rink, you know.
Sorry,
Let's
Kurt.
get after it.
Go ahead.
I went to a hockey game once.
You did?
I did.
Once?
Yep.
Was it the car show out there at...
No, it was like last January. I went down there to Independence.
Oh, you did?
So I've been to one sporting event.
How'd you like that?
It was pretty good.
Did they lose?
I can't remember. I don't know.
Did you have a good time?
Yeah, it was all right.
It was all right.
Let's bring in Lee Spencer on the show right now. We're sitting here talking, having a good time on Ty Gibbs' behalf. He wears his helmet when he wants to go down there and fight. He's better at dishing it out than he is taking it, isn't he, Lee?
Well, I was just shocked that he didn't have his bodyguard with him like the last time he went to get into a fight. So, you know, I don't think he waited for anybody who was that hot. But, I thought it was just going to be a matter of time until somebody got into him. And the comment from Jabbo, Jeff Mendering, Brandon Jones, Cruzy.
I think
We'll stay with her.
Did we lose her?
We'll stay with her. There she is. We're kind of losing you a little bit there, Lee. All right.
Sorry, I'm going through. I'm in. Can you hear me now?
Yep. Now
yes.
we've got you now. Go ahead. Start over again, if you would.
No, I was just saying that I thought it was really telling when Jeff Mendering, Brandon Jones' crew chief, said that if he didn't turn Ty Gibbs for the win, he didn't have hair on his ass, but he didn't have to.
He said that.
He moved him on. You know, he made the move on his own. I mean, honestly, you know, you just thought, hey, if he crowds him enough going around that, you know, eventually he'd lift. But because I didn't think either one of them were going to come out of the gas, right?
Right.
Yeah, Jones didn't have to move him. He didn't have to do any of that.
It's just going to be a matter of time before somebody took Ty Gibbs out because
Right.
it's just he's been asking for it. And if you listen to the talk shows this past week, everybody's giving him a hall pass because he's the coach's grandson for weeks now. And even the, you know, co-host on Sirius, you know, they took the gloves off this week. And
Right.
I think they were just tired of the BS.
Well, I'm not tired of it. I hope he keeps grinding people up, and I hope people keep going down there.
No,
and
I
fight.
didn't mean that. It's like every victory speech doesn't have to include a 10-minute sermon, right?
That's
because
true.
It's like you're going to lose half your audience that way. And it just, you know, I want to know, you know, technically what makes him so good. How did he prepare? If, you know, everything starts with, I give all the glory to God, and then you're beating the crap out of some kid, you know, 5 minutes later, just goes into the whole damn hypocrisy.
So what you're saying there, Lee, there's a mixed message.
You think?
I think there might be a little bit of a mixed message. So, but you know what? I think we need somebody like Ty Gibbs that's willing to go out there. Now, listen, the whole preaching thing.
You mean like the Jimmy Swaggart of NASCAR?
Maybe we need that. Maybe we need a guy that says, praise the Lord, or I'm going to knock you out of the way. Maybe we need a guy like that.
There you go.
I don't think Lee agrees with you there.
Hold on a second. All I like about Ty Gibbs is that he races hard, and he's gonna race everybody the same, and he's gonna lean on you. The one thing that he's got to learn is how to take it a little bit better, because as long as he continues to rub people and knock them out of the way, he's going to have to deal with this for years to come. Now, Noah Gragson was one of those kind of guys that used to knock people out of the way, and it seems like he's settled down a little bit. Do you think Ty Gibbs will?
I think if you're coach, you know, and coach has dealt with so many difficult athletes that, you know,
Right.
who knows better than coach, right?
Yep.
But I might have Kurt Busch sit down with him because Kurt Busch knows that, you know, Kyle's never going to change. But I think Kurt's seen the light later in his career, and Kurt made the path really difficult for Kyle, right? He kind of set it up for Kyle to just, you know, have to go through all the same nonsense he did because he was Kurt's little brother. But, you know, you see Kurt now compared to Kurt at that age, and it's a night and day difference.
Yeah.
But Kurt was basically raised by wolves, and Ty has had such a, I don't know, his upbringing's so different. I mean, it is closer to a Noah where everything's been handed to him, right? He's always had the best of everything. He's never had to want for everything. He's never had to work, other than work on his racecraft. So Noah might be a better person because, Kurt's a blue-collar guy that everything he got, he worked his ass off for.
Yeah. Well, I think Ty Gibbs eventually come around because I don't think Coach will put up with it for too much longer. And I think you're right. Talking to somebody like a Kyle Busch to kind of work him through that process, and
I said Kurt, because Kyle. Kyle's Kyle. I mean, he had another priceless press conference, and I'm like, it's almost like these reporters. They jump in with the hard questions, and you got to know if you're dealing with a Kyle or a Kevin Harvick, there's got to be a little foreplay in the communication before you go in for the kill.
Yeah, you can't you can't go in with a hard question right off the bat. You gotta give them a little bit of a neck rub before you do.
Yeah, that's very true with those two guys.
Yeah, for sure,
no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
So Ty Gibbs, what happened on that last race? That by the way, that was one whale of a pileup right ahead of that. But we'll get to that. We'll get that here in a minute. But I just wanted to ask you why Gibbs looked so strong the whole race. What happened there on that last restart?
Well, I think, Brandon just kind of crowded him a little bit. I mean, I thought that, and then all hell broke loose behind. But, that second to the last restart, was it Sam that missed the shift? And then, next thing you know, it's like, boom, it's all, it's on. So it took out a lot of great cars. I mean, I've never seen it. It looked like a parking lot and, entering turn one. It was just absolutely bizarre. But, you're going to get that at short track racing. Quite frankly, I have no idea what I'm going to see today. I mean, I think it's going to be interesting, but I really don't know what to expect.
A lot of shifting going on now. A lot of shifting going on tonight, right?
Yeah, that's what they were, the drivers were talking about, is that how much that they're going to have to shift with this car. So that's another interesting element. Kevin Harvick seemed to think the younger guys would shift more. There's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be really interesting. What you had last night, the spotters kept telling the drivers that rain was coming, and you tell race car drivers rain's coming, and they all lose their minds anyway.
Right.
So that was, I thought that was kind of interesting, but I think it's going to be. I think it'll be fun and games tonight. I really do.
I think there's a couple things. You heard a lot of the drivers talking about overusing their brakes. Whoever would have thought that they had too good of brakes for Martinsville, right? Now you're looking at it.
Oh, my gosh.
And these guys are sliding their tires when they're getting in.
Huge.
I know it. They're sliding the tires, getting into the corner and all that. And now they're going to shift. I think their minds are going to be so full, we're going to see a lot of beating and banging tonight.
Well, I think people that went ahead and if you were on the simulator, I think you can really get used to it and come up with a pattern and get that rhythm going. And I think it's going to be a matter of setting up a rhythm and not thinking too much about it. That was part of what Harvick was saying, was overthinking the whole shifting part. So, if it's something that really comes natural, if it's something that you've done all your life, I think it's going to, be easier to grasp the concept and get in that rhythm. So that's kind of, it's going to be fun to listen to what the feedback is from the drivers on the radio.
Yeah. Man, Chase put down a good lap yesterday, didn't he?
I'm sorry, what?
I say Chase Elliott laid down a good lap yesterday.
He did. Unfortunately, I didn't get to talk to him afterwards because Brad Keselowski's media availability was at the same time, and I wanted to hear what Brad had to say about the penalty. So I kind of missed the whole Chase Elliott exchange afterwards. But it's, it was sporty. I mean, I think that there's an interesting group of guys up in that, that qualified up in that front pack, and that I think that's it's going to be fun to watch. I mean, it's certainly you get that front pit stall, and that is money at Martinsville, and I think that that's going to help him considerably.
Hey, what did Bad Brad have to say about the penalty?
Well, I put it in my, I wrote a story about it last night, and, basically he was saying he wants to put the whole thing behind him. He regrets the fact that they didn't do a better job when they fixed that rear panel, and hey, we finally found out what exactly the infraction was, because I thought that was the strangest damn thing that, NASCAR put out what issue of the rule book was violated, but they never really went into, deep discussion as to what had happened, how it happened, this, that, and the other, and neither did Roush Fenway Keselowski until after the hearing on Thursday. So we got insight to that, but, he basically said that he was just, that they should have done a better job repairing the piece before they put it on. And the other thing is that they could have taken that piece to NASCAR and had it approved. And, I asked Brad specifically about, is the supply chain, is that still part of the problem here? Is just getting the parts and pieces you need? And, he declined to really comment about that. And I think coming from a standpoint where, Roush is one of those manufacturers that makes parts and pieces on this new car, they were, he doesn't want to overstep the bounds, and, he's got to be politically correct when it comes to this stuff. So I think, both, he was probably smart not to say, not to go into great detail about supply chains and manufacturing at this standpoint, because it's just been, it's just one of those deals where it's better than it was 2 or 3 months ago, but it's certainly not ideal.
Why wasn't NASCAR more transparent on what actually that penalty was? More details when that was handed down to.
They don't want to
RFK.
give you details.
Yeah, I mean, I think they don't. If other people are going to try stuff like that, they don't want it to be out. And Brad was pretty adamant that he didn't believe that it gave any sort of. It gave them any competitive advantage. It was just a matter of that it wasn't, wasn't repaired to NASCAR's liking.
The bottom line is, if you're going to do something like that, you got to run it by NASCAR.
That is the bottom line. That is absolutely the bottom line. That you just can't take any chances, and you basically just when the point comes, you just have to be. You have to do your best to make sure that all your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed.
Yeah. What is this? A.J. Allmendinger's got to serve a pass-through penalty at the start of the Martinsville race.
Basically, they failed 3 times going into inspection. Sorry, I got to get a drink of water. And so it was, one of those deals where, there could be, further penalties. But I mean, right now they're starting with that. I mean, if you remember, when Brad failed, that's kind of what led to their car going back. But this has been an ongoing thing with Kaulig. Kaulig's been busted more than once this year.
Yeah.
Are you feeling a lot better there, Lee? You've had a rough couple of weeks there. You doing good?
Oh man, I've had a sinus infection. It's been brutal, but I'm on meds, and so I'm just finally starting to get my voice back, and a little raspy. I don't sound like Marge Simpson's sisters, but I'm,
Sounds like they've had these cars on the dirt at Bristol. I'm hearing a lot of good comments about the next gen car on the dirt at Bristol. That's going to be a lot better than people thought.
From the video that we've seen, it looks like they're rolling around there pretty good.
Well, Stuart Friesen sounded really excited about it, so that was cool. He's usually a pretty good indicator as to what's going on. I know I talked to him on Monday. He wanted a cup ride. Doesn't have one yet. He still has a week to figure that out. But the big talk yesterday was whether or not they could get screens, fast enough. I think they tried to get screens and see what it would work with, and getting tear-offs for the car. And we were asking Joey Logano about that, and he was kind of funny because he said when he drove a modified at Volusia, that he was trying to figure out how the tear-offs work, and as he struggled with the tear-offs on his helmet, that he ran into the back of Ruderman and wrecked him. I thought that, it's like that's what happens when you send stock car guys out to do dirt racing, right?
Right. I was told that they're experimenting without the windshield in the car. Have you heard any of that?
Well, yeah, they're trying to use a screen instead of windshield because they don't think that it's but the problem is they don't have the time now. It's too late in the going for them to use it. Might it be something they can do in the future, perhaps? But it's it's not something that it's just not something that I think we're going to see next weekend. I could be wrong. They could all come up with this and do it, but I think as much as they tax these teams with this new car, putting another new element in it would be. I don't know. It would be really tough on the teams.
I think it would be hard on the electronics inside the car if they were to take the windshield out, myself.
That's the other thing that they're worried about
Yeah.
is, how getting all the dust into the components would hurt the car.
Right. Hey,
and we've had a lot of that. I mean, Kurt, what happened with Kurt Busch, was so bizarre at Richmond, and they had issues with their wiring harness, and it was I don't know, just a really tough time for them. Lost 100 laps trying to fix the car, and I mean, at that point, his day's done.
Go ahead, Austin.
I seen a Twitter post with Stuart Friesen, and he was talking about the mud flap system. Hold on one second. Do you know anything about that, or what? Were they trying to experiment with the mud flap system on the next gen car for the dirt race?
No, I was just hearing about screens. I didn't hear much about mud flaps. I know that. Ricky, I talked to Stenhouse, and he's encouraged by the fact that he was sawing the middle groove working there with the progressive banking, and he thought that would really help the quality of the racing too.
Right. How about old Jimmy Johnson? He suffers that wrist injury practicing down at Long Beach Grand Prix. What about that? That's not good for him.
Well, the one thing that open wheel people learn, and I don't know if I'm talking about open wheel as in, those types of cars.
Right.
I don't know if it's also a principle that they teach, kids that run sprints and midgets and whatever, but when you get in a situation like that in an Indy car, you take your hands off the wheel. He didn't take his hand off the wheel.
No.
Is what I've been told.
Yeah. Well,
so that's kind of.
I think he just had his best finish. Didn't he finish 6th? I think he did somewhere.
Yeah, he had a great run at Texas.
Yeah.
Texas.
A track he knows very well, by the way.
Look at his background on that track.
Right.
It's been a phenomenal track for him over the years.
He's won a lot of races. I think he won more races in the Cup Series down there than anybody, right? At Texas?
Maybe.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well, Lee, what do you got coming up on Racing Boys?
Kevin Harvick had a really, interesting take on what he thinks they could do to improve short track racing across America. And so I'm going to write a little bit about that while Reed's on the air today.
Hey, you wrote a great piece on Denny Hamlin and juggling everything that he's got to do with, he won last week at Richmond and driving for Joe Gibbs and then being a team owner and having to juggle all of that. I found that a very interesting piece that you wrote, that he's not very happy with the way things are going right now, it seems.
He's not, but, I think I contributed to growing pains, because it's one thing to have one car, and when you go through two, you kind of double your problems, right?
Yeah.
They won a race late last year, but in Kurt's defense, Kurt's had 3 top 10 finishes with 2 top 5s in the first 6 races. So he's done his part, but the last 2 weeks, man, you're only as good as your last race, and that's
right.
what Denny's looking at. And he asked a lot over the radio what happened to this car. It's like he's wearing both. He's wearing his owner's hat and his helmet in the race car, and sometimes that's a difficult balance. And so I think, just trying to figure out, getting the best of what he's supposed to do there is something that, he just has to figure out how to balance the two. And, it's like he said when he got out of the car and saw where the cars were, where his own cars were on the pylon. He kind of lost his mind. And so, the highs of victory and the agony of defeat, and, he's kind of feeling that all at once. And so, it was interesting, his take on that.
Yeah, it would be easy to criticize him for doing that. I don't have your attention, but hey, he did win the race last week, so it's hard to, pick at him after he did win the race.
Well, he's pretty good there, by the way. Yeah. Did you say that Reed going to be on Press Pass today?
Yeah, we're getting ready to go into the racetrack because I've got to set up the box for him so he can make radio magic this morning.
One of my favorite shows on Sirius XM Channel 90 is Press Pass.
I listen to that on my way to Corner Cafe every Saturday.
Yeah. All right, Lee, we'll let you go. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you on Monday, okay?
Appreciate it, boys. You guys have a great weekend, and, pray for dry skies around here, but,
Yeah.
I want to get home in a decent hour tonight.
Right. I'm with you. All right, Lee.
Thanks for all you do, Lee.
Take care, guys.
There you have it, Lee Spencer, Racing Boys Own. You can find her work on racingboys.com. Just go to the Racing Boys Scoop page. You'll see her picture there. You click on that banner. It will take you to all of her work. She's got her own exclusive page on racingboys.com.
I got to get to a race at Martinsville someday. I've been to the racetrack. I've walked around inside.
I've never been there.
But I've never been to a race there because I want to have one of their hot dogs that they keep talking about.
Yeah, I got it ready. We got that ready. I was going to say that Lee, she sounded pretty good, but I knew that it was going to struggle there with her voice because she said she had to get to the track. But
she said she's feeling a lot better now. But boy, she's been through a pretty rough couple of weeks.
Alan Miller just said that CMS has canceled practice for tonight.
Yeah. They did, and forgot to mention that earlier. They sent out a press release. We got that post up on Race Boys. Yep, too cold, not able to get that in.
Is the car show still going to be on? Do you know?
Let me look at that press. I think all the activities were called off.
And that interview that Kirk and Lee were just talking about, that's there in our comment section there, that last interview. So if you guys want to go back and read that interview while you're listening to us, you sure can.
All right.
It says on the press release that CMS, due to saturated grounds and cold temperatures, all weekend track activities at CMS are canceled for today. That includes both the planned car show and the practice session, so everything's called off. But they're planning on opening up for the season next Saturday night down at CMS. So.
No practice, just go right at it next week.
Lake Ozark still on, though. Lake Ozark Speedway, huge night of racing down there with the Jason Johnson Classic, non-wing, and, of course, the NOS Energy World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. What a great show that's going to be tonight.
And if you like late models, you can go to 81 Speedway out there by Wichita. And
$7,000 to win tonight.
$7,000 to win.
We'll see if Bobby Pearson
You jumped right in there. I was getting ready to say that, Kirk. You just kind of wheeled me right there.
I did.
Threw me a wheel.
I love feeding you a wheel.
Listen, Kirk is the king of talking over you.
I love
when you're in the middle of a sentence, Kirk would just jump right in there and jump on you. He'd just monster truck
I'm still affected by that, the indoor kart races that we had down there.
That has nothing to do with nothing,
kept
Kirk.
slamming me in the wheel.
You've been this way for 20 years. You've been this way for 20 years.
It seemed like it was 20 years ago when that happened.
Indoor kart races, what are you guys doing?
We were down there for...
Outlaw kart race. We did a live broadcast one time.
We were racing around. Is that track still open, by the way, down there? Is that place still open? I don't know. But anyway, we were out there racing around. Here comes somebody banging me in the rear, and it was Scott Traylor trying to move me out of the way.
Kirk, that did not sound good. Banging me in the rear.
Mark the tape.
Mark that tape right there. That was funny.
Oh, I get. Okay.
Yeah. All right, Kirk.
Kirk's finally catching on.
He finally caught up with us. So, did I spin you out, Kirk?
Did
I spin you out?
I can't. I think you did.
I think I spun you and
you spun me out.
You and Kiesman.
Yeah.
Kiesman was pissed.
And you hit me hard too.
Well, if you're going to hit somebody, don't jack around.
Now you didn't jack around.
I want to hurt your neck if I'm going to hit you.
So after that experience, anytime I have a chance to feed you a wheel, I'm going to do it.
Kirk, you've been talking over me for 20 years. That's just what you do. That's just your thing. But not a big deal. I still love you. So the big news today, and let's get into it. The press release come out, Kirk, that Wayne Johnson has decided to run for the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour Championship. How about that? After he was on the show, how many weeks ago was he on here, Austin?
Just a couple of weeks ago.
He was on episode 19 and 54, which was about 2 weeks ago, then a couple months ago.
You had him on again here just recently.
And he, both times he was on with us, he assured us that he was not going to run for the ASCS National Tour Championship. And I think we have a little sound of that, don't we?
We do somewhere.
You didn't find it?
I couldn't find it.
Oh, okay. But
we all remember what he said.
But he said it right here.
He said it twice. But if you feel like you want to go watch it, episode 54 and episode 19.
Right.
Got Dwayne Johnson.
So he's decided he's going to run for the championship. Anybody surprised by that? Austin?
No.
Well, you predicted it yourself. You said that he's got the points lead. He's going to run for the
I
rest
said
of the
it all
season.
along. Once he was in the points lead, he wasn't going to lead.
When he was
I
in the
think I
points
said
lead?
no. He said no, they're not going to run for points no matter what.
That and when he went to Little Rock. He wouldn't have went to Little Rock if he didn't want to plan on racing the full tour.
Well, I think his owner, Todd, has a little say-so in this as well.
Well, according to these quotes in the press release, it sounded like he was the guy that was interested
Hey,
in
you
doing
can say whatever you want to say in a press release. It doesn't know. That's not the. That could be a lie. I don't want to say it's a lie. But
Right. But listen, here's the thing about it. Wayne has a real possibility of winning that $50,000 for that national championship. Don't you think, Austin, that Wayne has a real shot at winning that championship?
Oh, I 100% agree with you. I mean, he's one of the most veteran, experienced drivers on the national tour now, and you don't come start the season out with a win, and I kind of proved our point that he's has to be a real good contender for it.
But let me tell you something. It's not going to be a cakewalk.
Far from it.
Because Blake Hahn ain't going to lay down for him. Dylan Westbrook's not going to lay down for him. Seth Bergman's not going to lay down for him. Matt Covington's not going to lay down for him. And oh, by the way, breaking news that Tim and Landon Crawley are going to be running full-time with the National Tour. They're like 8th and 9th in points. And let me tell you something. Do not count out Tim Crawley. Tim Crawley knows how to win championships with the National Tour.
And he used to run this series full-time back.
Well, he ran it with me when I was out there for the longest time.
Yeah, he's and Landon's doing a great job out there too, by the way.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure he's his dad yet, but he's going to get there someday.
So the star power has increased in the Lucas Oil ASCS Sprint Car Dirt Series for this year, and a lot of it has to do with the schedule and not making the trip out to the Pacific Northwest and to Pennsylvania, and these long trips I think are going to help the whole series. And hats off to Terry Maddox for building that schedule the way it is, and it's going to be exciting to watch with Wayne Johnson and now the Crawleys coming into the equation.
15 full-time National Tour drivers this year.
That's good.
That is crazy, isn't it? Who would have thought that?
Well, after last year, we had, 6 or 7?
But, that's really a reflection of them not traveling all over the country.
Right.
That, increased purse.
Yeah.
Can't beat it.
Yeah.
So Friday, April 22nd at Salina Speedway, and the following night at US 36 Raceway are the next events on the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour calendar.
I'm trying to I can't remember. For some reason, I'm drawing a blank on what year Tim Crawley won the championship.
I believe it was... I think it was the 90s, wasn't it?
Here we go. I think I found a link. No.
Past champions of the Lucas Oil ASCS?
Well, I Googled that. I used to know that right off the top of my head. Man, am I getting old. I can't believe it. All right. I can't find it.
I found it.
All right. What year was...
1994. 2002.
3-time.
1999.
Yep, 3-time champion. Don't count out Tim Crawley. That guy still knows how to wheel a race car.
Wayne Johnson, 2000.
Right. And 2001 was Zach Chappell. Right?
Yes.
He was the youngest champion to ever win the championship at the age of 19, Zach Chappell.
Wayne Johnson is also a 2-time winner of the Knoxville 360 Nationals.
Yep, no doubt. So it's good to see some of the old veterans come back, right? A little bit, isn't it? It's good to see Tim Crawley come back, Wayne Johnson come back, take on the likes of the defending champion of Blake Hahn, Dylan Westbrook, Matt Covington, Seth Bergman. This could be a really good season for the National Tour. I would think it would be.
Yeah, well, having these additions ramps up the excitement value, no doubt about that.
Yeah. All right, well, as we mentioned last night, Bobby Pierce picked up the MLRA victory down there at 81 Speedway. It was $5,000 to win last night. It's going to play $7,000 to win tonight, and we had a chance to talk to the voice of MLRA, Billy Rock, and this is my conversation with him on Mostly Motorsports this week. But it seems like now that MLRA's got a little more traction, and it's moving upward. Would you agree with that?
You know, I think you're on to something there, Scott. I mean, to be sitting here right now, knowing that looking at 81's website and talking to some of those folks this week, right now they're projecting 32 guys already telling us that they're going to be there, and that's a phenomenal number for me to be sitting and looking at Wichita, Kansas. Plus, there's going to be more guys show up that aren't even on the radar. So, to me, that says a lot about the race and a lot about the series. Yeah. Especially with a lot of guys, if you want to run for points, you've obviously got to make this one long haul. And one of the downfalls in the last few years has always been that we've always had to go to the Salina High Banks. It's a great facility. Love going down there.
Yep.
That's not on the schedule this year. So I think that being off the schedule really for a lot of the northern guys has kind of opened some things up and said, hey, we can make this haul down here. If we can make this one haul to Wichita, the rest of the season is really not that bad as far as travel. And travel is a huge part of this anymore, and trying to get these guys roped in. And I think your other big thing, Scott, was starting out a season, everybody wants to get up in the MLRA points because they want that chance at that provisional, if they need it, to get into that Show Me 100 coming up at the end of May.
I think this is going to be the most critical year for people that are going to tow, or if they're going to choose to stay home and race around their local area because of the price of fuel. I mean, we've got to be really concerned about that. And not only that, we got to worry about some tires this year, too.
We sure do. And, you talk about the fuel, and that's one of the things that I think we're seeing a lot of excitement with the MLRA series. It's not just this year, but the Winner's Circle program that rewards the drivers that come up and down the road with the MLRA series with fuel money at every venue. So we've got 10 guys potentially this weekend that are going to pick up an extra bonus check to help cover that gas. And then that's going to carry over to next weekend as long as you keep top 10 in points and keep that perfect attendance going. That's not something that a lot of late model series outside of, on a regional side do. So I think that's one thing that is attractive to some of the drivers. There's some other things the series has done this year to try and take care of some guys and entice them to come. And I think that's a big deal. And, you talk about tires. I mean, it's on everybody's mind right now. And I know seeing the message that went out to the drivers earlier this week, each driver this weekend will be allowed to purchase 2 tires each night, and that's it. And that's basically as long as they last. So, if you end up with 40 or 45 cars, they may not last as long, but anything that's in our trailer that we've got from Hoosier to distribute, we have been strictly told that we are allowed to do no more than 2. So this is sitting here in April. You guys have talked about it. Where are we going to be in June and July? It's hard to say right now.
Yeah, no doubt. That's when we have to worry about it the most, is when we get to the heat of the summer and when tires start getting burned up. We got to worry about that. I hope that we have plenty of tires when it comes to July 14th when you guys race out at I-70 Speedway. All right, that's my interview that I did with Billy Rock. Again, you can find that interview in its entirety on our podcast page. Just search for Mostly Motorsports or go to racingboys.com and just click on the banner that says Mostly Motorsports. It will take you right to all of our shows, and you'll be able to find it real easy that way.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing those events out at I-70 Motorsports
that'd be
this
good.
year.
Yeah, that'd be really
Lucas
good.
Oil ASCS coming out there too, right?
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Going to be running up at US 36, 2 times out at Lakeside Speedway this year. So
if you didn't get your fix, we're all disappointed. We didn't get the races in last night at US 36.
Yep.
Mark the 23rd of this month on your calendar when the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour goes to US 36 Raceway. That's going to be a big show.
That'll be a good show. Yep. Unfortunately, no World of Outlaws last night, though.
Nope.
Yeah,
But
bummer.
Maybe they can bring him back. But,
Yeah.
hey, the Lucas Oil ASCS will put on a great show up there.
Oh,
coming
for
up.
sure, especially with all these veterans coming back and running with the tour.
2 weeks from tonight.
Yep, no doubt. That'll be a really good show. I want to say hi to Kelly. Kelly Boy from Central Point, Oregon is listening to the Racing Boys this morning. So we want to thank Kelly for listening in from out there in Oregon. And, it's so funny that out of all the states, we average about 42 states a day listening to mostly motorsports. What do you think is the number one state, Kurt?
California.
It is California. So weird, isn't it?
Where the gas prices are really high.
Gosh, I couldn't imagine buying gas out there.
I saw this morning a gallon of gasoline in California was over $8 a gallon. Yes.
Gas in North Kansas City at the Quick Trip right off of I-35?
$3.59 this morning.
$3.49 last night.
And diesel fuel's about a little more than $1 more than that, right?
I'm going to hit the old Quick Trip out there in Oak Grove because it's usually cheap out there, isn't it? It's usually about the cheapest place to buy fuel. It's funny.
The Lansing Quick Trip out by us is the cheapest.
How much is it out there?
It's almost always 10 cents cheaper. It's a brand new one, so they're trying to get everybody still to...
You know what Deidre and I do a lot? We go, because we're members at Costco and at Sam's.
Yep.
She's a member at Sam's, and Kirk and I...
Murphy's.
We go in there and buy the gas because they're usually about 10 or 15 cents cheaper.
Jennifer has Sam's card, and she gets her gas.
Is that where she goes?
And it's always 10 cents cheaper.
The problem with me is it's hard for me to not go to Quick Trip.
I go to Quick Trip because that's what I just...
Do they even say they guarantee their gas anymore?
I don't know, but I get
They used to.
We have a Price Chopper card, and if you get gas and you get money off on... So if you buy groceries at the grocery store, you get quite a bit of discount at the Quick Trip.
Yeah.
So I wait until both cars, because you can get up to 25 gallons. Well, my little car doesn't hold 25 gallons of gas, but
mine only holds about 15.
Yeah, mine's about 12. I think mine's a 14-gallon or a 12-gallon.
Mine's 12.
12.
I think mine actually holds 15 because I fill up the neck all the way to the top.
Me and Austin does the same.
Cost me about $45 to fill up my Equinox.
How many gallons does it hold?
I can't remember.
He's got to have the next.
You don't pay attention to
one.
that kind of stuff, do you, Kurt?
I just pay attention what it costs when you fill it up.
How much does it cost to fill up your truck?
$120.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Diesel. $4.59 in Kearney, Missouri.
$4.59.
Yep.
You're better off not racing right now anyway.
Don't tell him that.
I'll do it on somebody else's dime.
Well, we need to find you a fuel card.
Working on it.
Sorry, Racing Boys doesn't have it.
No, I'm working on something.
We're lucky that we can pay you.
Checks are still cashing.
Yeah, that's still good.
They're still cashing.
We're lucky we're not hustling down the road this year doing
I used to
all
work
this
at
stuff.
a company, Scott, that I worked the night shift, me and a friend of mine, and we worked the night shift. This place worked 3 shifts, morning, afternoon, evening shift, and an overnight shift. And we knew it was getting bad. It was a small company. 2 owners owned it, and then one left. And it was a long time had been there, but we saw the writing on the wall. DVDs were moving in and VHS tapes were moving out, right?
Right.
And but towards the very end, on Fridays when we get our checks, me and my friend Ed would run to work, get the checks, and haul ass down to the main bank, our main bank down on the plaza.
Make sure they'd cash.
Me and his checks would cash because we had maybe 12 other employees, and it was like...
And theirs wouldn't?
Sometimes they'd have to call, hey, there's no funds. They'd have to move some funds over from some other place. But me and Ed would always do the run. Even though we had the worst shift, it was the best shift because we would make sure we get our checks
because you knew that your check was going to cash.
I hate that feeling, man, of not having a check.
You've never had to worry about that at Racing Boys, have you?
Nope, never had even. No, not even a
Not even for
Not
a
even
second.
a hint.
Our
So,
checks are good, Tom.
They're always good.
We always
10
pay
year-
our bills.
I looked at that. I don't know if it popped up on your timeline, Scott. We had our 10-year friend anniversary on Facebook yesterday.
I didn't see that.
So I've been here 11 years. So 10 years we've been friends on we've been friends on. So this would be.
Oh, I didn't see that. Todd.
Yeah, I was going to share it, and then I was at that messing with baseball stuff, and for some reason it never popped back up again on my page again. But it was yesterday. So 10 years ago, me and Scott became friends on Facebook.
I remember the first time I met you. You were walking at Kansas Speedway down by the fence, and you stopped me and
I
you
did.
said,
Well,
"Hey, man,
that's Scott. Right there. Hey, Scott."
And we talked, and it was the week later you were working
That's
for
right.
us, weren't you?
I'd been posting some videos and some stories that I'd written on your page and been reaching out to you, and then you reached out to John O'Neill and asked about me. And
Hey, it's old Jim Childers' birthday today.
Happy birthday, Jim.
Yeah.
The retired Power Eye announcer.
Hope he's doing good.
I don't know if he's totally retired yet. I wouldn't call him totally retired. Oh, it's Brian Ward's birthday today as well. How about that?
How about that?
Bobby Russ Wood.
Happy birthday.
Brian Dallas Ward, right? Dallas?
Yeah, Dallas. That's it.
Hey, speaking of Kansas Speedway, we're 5 weeks away from the first of 2 weekends out here. We'll be out there doing coverage as we always do.
Saw the commercial yesterday being played
Yep.
during the show. I got
May
to turn off. Your turn
15th on a Sunday is the Cup Series race.
That's right.
And I think they're having two races the day before that. The Truck Series are going to be in.
Double header.
Along with, is it ARCA that's coming in?
I think it is, right? I think
The Camping World Truck Series will be there for sure.
I
We
saw
know
the
that.
commercial yesterday
So
during Martinsville, during the race yesterday. I saw the Kansas commercial. So
that's going to be a big weekend.
I got to say something real quick. It's totally has nothing to do with nothing but my neighbor, Joe Ludwig, a good friend of ours, and his brother just passed away last night at 2:30 in the morning. So he's been fighting that cancer, and it finally got a hold of him, and they were putting him on hospice today, and he passed last night.
Oh,
so
my God.
I want to give a shout out to my buddy old Joe over there. He's a good man.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
You got good neighbors around you.
Man, I got the best neighbors. I'm telling you, I couldn't be any more blessed to have this house with this studio in it, and the great neighbors that I have to keep an eye on.
You only been in here a little more than a couple of years. Seems like you've been here a decade.
You know, it's comfortable here, isn't it, Kurt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You moved in right ahead of when the pandemic hit.
I did.
Of course, the world changed at that point, but that's why it seems like you've been here a long time.
Yeah.
But you live great place up here in Northtown.
Well, I just got really good neighbors that keep an eye on my stuff when I'm not home, and so yeah, it's a good place to live. And the Gladstone cops, they keep an eye on things.
They watch your speed limit through here.
Don't speed around Gladstone because you'll get a ticket if you do. All right, let's do the Brian Brown next. All right. This week also, Brian Brown had a pretty good run down at Devil's Bowl. It looked like he might be on his way to victory. Started on the pole, led a few laps, but he just didn't seem to have the speed that he needed to win down there at Devil's Bowl. And we had a chance to talk to Blackjack Brian Brown this week on Mostly Motorsports. Brownie, hell of a job last week, buddy.
Yeah, not bad. Just good to get down there and get a good solid run in, and hopefully keep the momentum going here.
Man, it seemed like your car was rolling really good. That track was super fast, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was kind of, I think with the ASCS down there a month or so ago, they had some issues keeping water in it. I think
did.
They just they did a good job of making sure that they didn't have that issue. And then it rained overnight too, so a little bit of that going on. And our car was so good, really all night long. And then sometimes when your car is that good, especially like in the dash, it's hard to make adjustments because you don't want to mess it up. And I think we maybe just didn't adjust enough, and we just got a little bit too tight especially when we got in behind guys. But overall, a good. When you go 10 hours from home, you got to run good. And, third was definitely a good result. We would have loved to win, but so would 29 other guys.
Right. When you start on the pole like that, Brownie, do you feel like you've got a really good chance to win. When you look at the track conditions they had, it was a little narrow. It was really fast. Did you feel like you had a chance to win that race?
Yeah, obviously, going into it, we feel like we have a chance to win really any race. And then when you have opportunity being on the front row there, in my opinion, I felt like it was really going to come down to really who got through traffic a little bit better. I felt like I could probably get the lead, and whoever got through traffic. And my car just wasn't as good, the first 10 laps as it had been all night long. And I was kind of searching around, doing things inside the car to try to make and moving around on the track just a little bit to try to get my car a little bit better, and let him sneak by. And then I thought to myself, okay, I'll just settle in here and wait till we get to traffic. And he made a good move in traffic to pass 3 cars in one corner. And then those guys got racing too wide for a while, and me and Donnie never cleared those guys and just let him get out there to a huge lead. So once you get into second there, I'm thinking, there could be a yellow somewhere along the line here. I didn't think it was going to go 27 nonstop where there's a double file, and you really want to be in second at that point, not in third. So overall, like I said, just a good solid finish for our team.
Yep. All right, there you have it. Blackjack Brian Brown joining us on Mostly Motorsports. Again, you can listen to Mostly Motorsports Monday through Friday, 12 noon Central Time, and you can watch it on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or racingboys.com. Show's going really well. We got a lot of great guests on every week. The best of the best are on Mostly Motorsports, and it's all brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works, and looking forward to continuing to do it. I think Austin and I are having a good time with it. You having a good time doing the show, Austin?
It's not too bad.
That's all I get. It's not too bad.
Well,
really? Is that all I get?
Well,
I thought you enjoyed coming in here on Monday through Friday.
I really do enjoy it.
It sounds like it.
No, I just say things in a different way.
You don't like getting up early on Saturday morning?
I don't mind it.
Once in a while I got to bust on you a little bit.
No,
too.
it's fine. I don't have a problem with it.
Right.
No, I just say things in a different way that you might think, oh, you don't enjoy it, but I really do.
You just don't want to overhype the situation.
You're just too laid back, Austin.
Yeah.
That's your problem. You're just too laid back.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Your dad's a little more intense than you, isn't he?
You know what, Austin?
That's how my kid is too.
He's
just calm,
wound up.
They're just my kid. You can't tell if he's mad, sad, happy, or just.
You know what, Austin? You're just a cool guy. The
problem is, Todd, is that you're the one that's wound up, just like John Senior is, or John Junior is wound up. Your dad. He's a little uptight, isn't he?
You can get him fired up. I've done it many a times.
And you know how
I
to
did
do
it one time too.
No, I
1990. He was a young man back then.
32 years ago.
I claimed him.
Uh-oh. Those claims, that always rubbed people the wrong way, didn't it?
Well, I got coaxed into claiming him. It really wasn't my idea. It was J.L. Cooper's idea. He put up the money. I claimed him.
Sorry, the Arby's is burning down in Kearney.
Yeah,
it's on fire.
Oh my gosh!
The Arby's in Kearney.
I
is
like that
burning.
place.
And you eat there? They got a picture of it on fire.
Yeah. I'll put it in front of the camera over here.
Let's see it. Pull it up there. I want to see
somebody just called Austin Mr. Excitement. Did you see that?
Mr. Excitement.
I've stopped at that Kearney's.
Hold on. There you go.
I stopped
Holy
at that
cow!
Kearney's
It's
Arby's.
not burning. It's really burning, isn't it?
Oh my God!
It's going to be
How
gone.
often do you eat there a week? Every once in a while.
I've been in there many times, Austin. Wow. The Arby's in Kearney. That's on the west side of I-35.
That's going to make that's big news.
You're not going to the lake, are you, Kurt?
Not tonight.
You're not going?
No. I'll be watching, though.
And you're not going either, Austin, are you?
No.
No.
I thought you were going down there.
I planned on it. It's a long drive. I got other commitments too.
He wussed out on us. I thought you were going to go down
I have a love-hate relationship with that place.
I know you do.
It owes me a couple of things.
It owes you some money.
A lot of money.
You'd rather be racing, though.
How much did you spend down there the last time you raced?
Oh, a lot of money. I'm trying to
couple
think here.
grand?
a lot more than a couple grand.
Oh, was it more than
Probably
a couple grand?
5 to 10 grand. I had a pile. Let me find this picture. It won't email to me fast enough to show it. I'll stand in front of the camera again. Blake Hahn and I had a pile of parts next to our trailer after that weekend.
Blake didn't have a good weekend either.
No, and I bet you it probably could have equaled out to about $5,000 worth of parts or so.
Well, truth be known, Austin, if you're going to the racetrack, you'd rather be racing, right?
Right. You don't need to go if you're not racing.
Not a big time fan, but you'd rather go and race.
All right, Austin. I've never seen him try to do this. He's putting his phone up in front of the camera, and look at that pile of parts. Man, oh man! I would have taken that center top piece though. It had Racing Boys on it. I would have liked that. That would have been good. I don't have one of those, Austin. Next time you destroy a wing and it's got that on there, let me have that, would you?
Yeah, we can see.
You just left. Oh, I don't think I'm going to be up there this year.
What's
you
that?
got somebody else going to be up there in that spot this year, don't you? Who is it?
What?
Up there on the top of your wing.
Oh,
who's
maybe?
Yeah, you might have somebody
working on it.
All right. Well, I hope you get it.
Maybe it's fuel related. You never know.
Anybody that pays lots of money gets a spot up there.
That's all that matters. All right, well, that's it for Track Talk this week, folks. We will be doing it all over again next Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. Don't forget Mostly Motorsports, Monday through Friday, 12 noon Central Time. You can watch it here on Facebook. You can watch it on Twitter, YouTube, or racingboys.com. We have a lot of great guests. It's Austin and myself. Kirk Elliott comes in and sits with us on Fridays. It's Fun Fridays on Fridays. We're thinking about kind of maybe adjusting the show a little bit and maybe doing a little more of that on Mondays, right?
I think we should. I think we should leave our first 2 segments open and save Lee Spencer for our last segment and take some phone calls.
I think we might just start doing that.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, because there's plenty to talk about on Mondays.
Plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you going to watch the F1 race after midnight tonight from Australia?
I am.
I'll be watching.
You guys are such a glutton for punishment.
Ferrari on the pole.
It's good. I recommend anybody to get into F1. I mean, this is the time to do it. You got a lot of storylines and a lot of
Charles Leclerc on the pole.
A lot of excitement.
Hamilton qualified 5th, so that's better for him.
Tractor. He's driving tractors right now. The car sucks.
And the Indy cars, by the way, are at Long Beach tomorrow, so we'll be watching that.
Well,
Simon Pagenaud had the quick practice speed with that, so we'll be watching that as well.
Have fun with that. All right, that's it for us. I want to thank Austin O'Neill, Todd Surprise, my partner Kirk Elliott, for doing the show with us each and every Saturday morning. It's always a blast. Again, we hope that you'll join us Monday through Friday on Mostly Motorsports at 12 noon Central Time. And again, I'm Scott Traylor. For everybody here at RacingBoys.com, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you next week right here on Track Talk.